Hello and shalom, friends. Welcome to Hebrew with Mayim. And in this lesson, we're going to be learning from Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, how to read and translate these two verses. We're also going to learn a little bit of commentary from Rebbe Nachman as he explains that the Torah is the heart of God. So let's get into Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. It says in Likutei Moharan that the Torah begins with the letter Bet, as in Bereshit, and ends with the letter Lamed. The last verse of the Torah, the last letter of the last word is Yisrael, and so it ends with the letter Lamed, and that's in Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 12. Now, together, these letters spell Lev, which means heart. You've got the Lamed from the end and the Vet from the beginning, and these two letters spell heart, Lev. And man's spirit resides in his heart, always motivating him to greater heights. And so in this instance, we're not talking about the heart that is flesh and blood, but we're talking about something deeper than that, something more spiritual. Okay, it's a level of our soul which also fuels our emotions. And it's, when the Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, it's this level of our soul that we're talking about. And furthermore, the Torah represents the heart, the dwelling place of the spirit. This when I say the word heart, it's talking about our innermost being, the center of our being. And so this is where the Torah should reside. It is the dwelling place of the spirit. And the more we align ourselves with the Torah, the more fully we can develop our spirit. Thus, we find that God's holy name, Elohim, appears 32 times in the account of creation. And this numerical value, 32, also is the numerical value of Lev, or the word for heart in Hebrew. And this teaches us that when we attune our hearts to God, we are able to perceive him through every facet of creation. So one of the words for creation in Hebrew is we call creation, we call it Ma'aseh Bereshit, which means the works from the beginning. And it's talking about the creation narrative, okay? And so when we see creation or when we see nature, we should be able to perceive the heart of God. And also, likewise, when we read the Torah, we can also understand the heart of God and how he deals with human nature and humans and all of creation. Okay? So let's get into the first two verses. First verse, Aleph, is Bereshit. Okay? Bereshit means in the beginning. In the beginning. Bara is created. He created. Elohim means God or Almighty. It's plural form. I like to think of it as it's plural form because all powers in all the universe actually stem from one source. He's the source of all powers. That's why we say he's almighty. He's the source of all might. Elohim. Et is a direct object pointer. Hashamayim means the heaven or the heavens. Ve'et means and haaretz is the earth. In context, it can also mean the land, but in this context, it's talking about the whole entire earth, haaretz. Next verse, vet or bet, verse bet, pasuk bet, pasuk aleph, pasuk bet. We can say ve haaretz, meaning and the earth. Haita, she was, it's feminine, the earth, eretz, land, this word is feminine. So hayata means she was. Tohu is formless. Vavohu means and void. Vehoshech means and darkness. Vehoshech, al, over, penei, the face of or the surface of, tehom, which is translated as deep. Veruach, which means and wind or spirit. Okay. Usually this is translated as spirit, but it's the same word in Hebrew, spirit and wind. Okay. Elohim, God. Merahefet means was hovering or hovers. Okay. But in context, we would say was hovering in English. Merahefet, and it's also feminine because ruach or spirit is feminine. Merachefet. Al penei, again, means was over the surface of or over the face of. Hamayim, which means the water or the waters. The word for water or waters is just one word in Hebrew. It's mayim, and it's also plural, whether you're talking about one body of water or all water. It's just mayim. Okay. Now, we'll break this down a little bit more. Okay. We've got the bet with a shava, this says b, and then the resh with a tzere, which says re, and then the shin with the chirik, yud, says she, and then with the tav, it says sheet. So bereshit, which means in the beginning. Bereshit. Can you say that?
Bereshit.
Good. And then we have bet with a kamatz, which says ba, and then resh with a kamatz, and then aleph, this says ra, so this is bara. You say bara?
Bara.
Bara. Good. And this is he created, right? Bereshit in the beginning, bara, he created. Now this word bereshit, in the middle of it says rashe, which means heads of. Okay, and rosh, reshin means head. Okay, so a beginning comes from the word head, right? And we also have here the aleph with a sego, which says and then lamed with a cholem, which says lo, and then a hey with a chirik yud says he, and then with a mem sufit says him. So this is Elohim. Okay, so can you say Elohim?
Elohim.
Elohim. And we have an aleph with a tav, and this aleph has tzere, so it says so this is et. And it's a direct object pointer. Can you say et? Et, good. And then we have a hey with a patak, which says ha, and then a shin with a kamatz, which says sha, and then a mem with a patak, which says ma, and then a yud with a hirik and a mem sofit all together says yim. Ha shamayim. Okay, can you say ha shamayim?
Ha shamayim.
Good. Then we have a vav with a shava, this is a quick v, and then an aleph with a tzere, which says and then a tav, so it says et. So this is ve'et. And hashemayim means the heaven or the heavens. Ve'et means and with a direct object pointer. So can you say ve'et?
Ve'et.
Good. And this is a hey with a kamatz, so this is ha. And then aleph with a kamatz, so it says a. And then a resh with a segol and a tsari, which says retz. So this is haaretz. Can you say haaretz?
Haaretz.
Good, haaretz. And then we have a vav with a shava, which says vi. And then we have a hey with a kamatz, which says ha. And aleph with a kamatz, which says a. And then a resh with a segol, which says re. And with a tsari, it's retz, okay? Ve haaretz. Ve haaretz. Okay, say ve haaretz.
Ve haaretz.
Good. Then we have a hey with a kamatz, which says ha, and a yud with a shava, which says ye, and then a tav with a kamatz, and a hey, which says ta. This is hayeta. Can you say hayeta?
Hayeta.
Right. V'haaretz means and the land. Hayeta means she was. Okay, it's feminine. If it was just he was, it would just be haya. But it's because it's she was, it's hayeta. Okay, so this tav right here makes it feminine. She was. Okay. Then we have a tav with a cholam, which is to, and then a hey with a this is a, I think this is a vav with a shuruk, or I don't remember. I'm not sure what it's called, but a vav with a dot through it says u. So this is tohu. When you say tohu,
Tofu.
right? Tohu means formless. It's translated as formless, without form. Okay, then we have a vav with a kamatz, which says va, and a vet with a cholam, which says vo, and then a hey with a vav with a dot, which says u. So this is hu. So this is vavohu. Can you say vavohu?
Vavohu.
Vavohu means and void. Okay, and void. And then we have a vav with a shava, which says ve, and a het. And this cholam right here, this dot on top, this is doing double duty. It's the o sound for the het, and it's also marks the shin as a shin instead of a sin. Okay, because it's on the right hand side instead of the left. If the dot is on the left hand side right here, it would be a sin, but on the right it's a shin. And then this, so this is ho because of this dot cholam, ho, and then the shin has a segel, which is so this is she, and then it has a chaf sofit that ends this syllable. So this is shech, vechoshech. Okay, so can you say vechoshech?
Vechoshech.
Good, vechoshech, which means and darkness. And then we have an ayin with a patak, which says ah, and then the lamed. And so what does that say? Al. Okay. Ayin with the patak says ah, and then the lamed says al. Okay. And then we have a pe with a shiva, which says pe, and then a nun with its seta, which says e, and the yud together says ne. So say those two syllables together.
Penne.
Pene. Very good. Pene. Al pene means over the surface of. Okay. Al pene. So vechoshech al pene, and darkness is over the surface. And then there's an implied of. Okay. And then we have a tav with a shiva, which says te, and then a hey with a cholam vav, which says o, and then a mem sofit, which it says that so this is home, right? So say this word. Now the first part is tav with the shiva, so that says tehom. Good, tehom. Tehom. So that's deep, okay? Was over the surface of the deep, tehom. Next word we have a vav with a shiva, so this is vi. And then we have a resh with a vav with a dot, which says u, so this is ru. So veru. And then we have a chet with a patak. Now, when the het and the patak are at the end of the verse, we don't say ha, we say ah. Okay, so ah. So go ahead and say this word. Veruach. Veruach. Okay, veruach. Good, which means and spirit or and wind. They're the same word in Hebrew. But we usually translate it as spirit because we're talking about something, an invisible force, not just the regular wind, which is also an invisible force, but we're talking about something deeper than that. We're talking about an invisible spiritual force, right? So we have an aleph now, and then segol. Actually, it's the same word right here, so we won't go through it again. This is Elohim, again, just like we had over here. So can you say Elohim?
Elohim.
And this is mem with the shiva, so this is me. And then the resh with the patak says ra. So this is mera. And this is a het with a segol, so this is he. So mera he. And then a fe with a segol and a tav together say fet. Fet. So segol says eh. So this is mera hefet. Can you say that? Mera hefet. Good. And then we have al panei again, just like here. Al panei. And then we have a hey with a patak, which says ha. And the mem with a kamas, which says ma. So this is ha ma. and then a yud with a hirik mem sofit. The hirik says e, so this is yim. So can you say this word?
Mayim.
Hamayim. Good. This means the water or the waters. Okay. Then lastly, we're going to learn the trope for this. Okay. All right. But first, let's just read the whole verse together. Okay. Bereshit
Bereshit.
bara
Bara.
Elohim
Elohim.
et
Et.
ha-shamayim
Shamayim.
ve'et
Ve'et.
haaretz
Haaretz.
ve'haaretz
Haaretz.
hayata
Hayata.
tohu
Tohu.
vavohu
Vavohu.
ve'choshech
Vechoshech.
al penei
Al panei.
tehom
Tehom.
ve'ruach
Veruah.
Elohim
Elohim.
merahefet
Merahefet.
al penei
Al panei.
hamayim. Good. Okay, now we'll learn the trope for this. And the trope is very important because it teaches you the grammar also, because the trope marks are separators and connectors. And so they serve as the punctuation marks for the verses, okay? Much more involved than regular English punctuation marks. So there are hard separators here, which is the et nachta. So after the separators, you can take a pause. And the hardest separator here is the sof pasuk, these two dots. So et nachta is like this upside down horseshoe, and the sof pasuk is this the two dots right here at the end. Usually you can translate this as a period, sometimes semicolon or comma. And then et nachta, sometimes you can translate it as a comma, not necessarily always. Not in this verse also. And then another hard separator here is this katon right here, these two dots right here above the vet. That's another hard separator. And here's another et nachta. Now, the hard separators, usually you want to pause after them. Okay. Tipcha is also a separator, but not a very hard separator. It's just a small pause. Okay, so each of these have a sound. Okay, so this is tipcha. Okay, tipcha. So bereshit with tipcha says bereshit. Okay, tipcha bereshit. Can you say that?
Bereshit.
Good. Say tipcha.
Tipha.
Good. This is munach. Okay, can you say munach? Good. And this is bara. Say that. Bara. And so our sages say that God not only spoke the word into the world into existence and the universe into existence, but he sang it. His voice is melodic, it's musical. And I believe that because it is God's intention that we memorize his words, his Torah in our hearts. And the best way to memorize words is to sing it, is when it's in song. So it makes very much sense to me that Hashem sung the word into existence. It's more beautiful that way, and it's more memorable that way. Okay. Now in Judaism, there's different melodies for trope. There's different ways to sing it, according to your custom or minhag. There's no one right way. Okay, there's Ashkenazi melodies, there's different Sephardic melodies, and there's a Yemenite melody. There's Arabic melody, Middle Eastern, more, not Arabic, but Mizrahi, Middle Eastern, I'd say, not Arabic, Middle Eastern melodies. And so the one that we're using is an Ashkenazi one because it's very, very common, especially in America. Okay, so Bereshit bara, and this one is et nachta. Can you say et nachta? Good. And this is Elohim. Good. So this is Bereshit bara Elohim.
Bereshit bara Elohim.
Good. And this is Mercha. So this is So say mercha
mer,
et. Good. And this is tipcha. So this is hashamayim.
shamayim,
Good. And this is mercha again. Mercha. So this is ve'et. Say ve'et. And this is sof pasuk. So sof pasuk, the end of the verse says sof pasuk. So this is haaretz. Can you say that? Right. Okay. This one right here. Now these trope marks tell you where the accent of the word is, okay? The accent is usually by default at the end of the word, unless the trope mark is elsewhere, okay? Usually. There's a few exceptions, and I'll show you one soon. So this trope mark is Revi'i, right? So this is Veha'aretz. Can you say that? So notice that we drew out the sound at ah because that's where it is and that's where the accent mark is, okay? So it's veha'aretz. So we say veha'aretz. Okay, good. So now let's do the next one, which is mercha. So this is hayeta. So you say that. Hayeta. Good. So let's sing mercha together. Mercha. Okay, good. And this is pashta. Say pashta. Now, pashta is at the end, always at the end. But because the accent mark is supposed to be on the first syllable, not the last syllable, we actually have two pashtas. Okay. And so we have the accent on the first syllable. Tohu. Okay. So let's say that. Tohu, which means formless again, right? And then we have this is katon. Sing that trope mark with me. Katon. So this is vavohu. So let's say vavohu with katon. Vavohu. Okay, good. This is and void. And then this is again tipcha. So this is vechoshech. Vechoshech. Good. And this is alpane is with munach. Again, just like this. Remember, bara was also munach. It went bara. So alpane will say alpane. Good. Alpane. And that's over the surface of. And this is at nachta. We had that again with we had that also with Elohim. So this is tehom. So say that. Tehom. At nachta. Tehom. So this you would really say that together. You'd say alpane tehom. Alpane tehom. Because this is a connector and this is a separator, okay? So this is right here. This is a munach. So it says munach. And this is katon. This is the separator. So you'd kind of do these together. You'd say munach veruach. And then Elohim would say Elohim katon Elohim. Okay, so you'd say veruach Elohim. Okay, can you say that with me? Veruach Elohim. Good. That's in the spirit of God. And then this is a slight separator. So this is merachefet with tipcha. So we would say merachefet. Sing that with me. Merachefet. And this is alpene or mercha. So this is alpene. Sing that with me. Alpene. And this is hamayim, which is sof pasuk. So that's hamayim. Very good. All right. Well, thank you for learning with me. And we'll just translate it again. This is actually Chabad's translation. It's in the beginning of God's creation. of the heavens and the earth. Very interesting translation. And it says, now the earth was astonishingly empty. Now, this isn't actually, that's not very literal. It's formless and void. That is much better because there's actually two words, and this doesn't really indicate that, right? Formless and void is a more literal translation. And darkness, v'choshek, was on the face of al panei, the deep, tehom. And the Spirit of God, veruach Elohim, was hovering, merachefet, over the face of al panei hamayim, the water. Okay, remember that. So in the beginning is bereshit, right? And then of God's creation would be bara Elohim, okay, of the heavens and the earth. I think it's, now I forgot. Et hashamayim. Yeah, there we go. Et hashamayim, of the heavens and the earth. Ve'et haaretz. Ve'haaretz, and the earth. Hayata was tohu vavohu, or formless and void. Ve'choshek, and darkness. Al panei was over the surface of, or on the face of. Tehom, or the deep. Veruach Elohim, and the Spirit of God. Merchefet was hovering. Al panei, over the face of. Hamayim, the water. Right? So now we've translated it from Hebrew to English and also from English to Hebrew, right? All right, very good. So thank you for joining me and learning a little bit about how the Torah is the heart of God and learning how to read from Bereshit, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. Visit my website, www.hebrewmayim.com, and you will get the latest lessons for to learn biblical Hebrew and also Torah life coaching delivered by email if you subscribe at HebrewMayim.com. And I also have lessons for learning the Aleph Bet, if you don't know that yet, and also learning trope from the beginning, also learning ancient Temani, Yemenite Hebrew pronunciation. What we do here is the modern Hebrew pronunciation, but there are ancient ways to pronounce a modern Hebrew, which we know were used during Second Temple time, so about 2,000 years ago, or over 2,000 years ago. So you can get those lessons all from my website, HebrewMayim.com. Shalom. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already.